All right, everybody, this will be warning to all politicians. I'm running for president 2024, part 87A, I guess we'll call it. Wanted to continue the part about defunding police. Oh, some raindrops on the windshield there. And you wash all this California fire soot off the truck here. Anyway, it's a beautiful day up here in Oregon. Clear skies and cool temperatures all day. Looks like maybe now they might be getting some kind of storm, or at least a little rain coming in. But anyhow, following through with this defund the police. If you have an apartment or home or something, and you have noisy neighbors making a whole bunch of noise and stuff, and there aren't any police to call, does that mean you can go over there and tell them to shut the hell up? And if they don't, take the law into your own hands? What about this domestic? I know you say you want to send counselors and stuff, but usually, if you ever watch the program Cops, there's usually alcohol and drugs involved in most of those domestic violence calls. And usually the man, well, no, sometimes it's both of them, or sometimes it's a woman that's doing it, but most of the times it's the man who's drunk, angry as hell and everything. And even if an armed police officer shows up at his door, he's irate as can be and everything. So you want to send a counselor to that, to try and deal with somebody who's drunk and angry and doesn't want you messing in their business. Does that make sense? So let's look at this defund the police. So all right, you're going to defund the police. I guess that means we see drug dealers and pimps and shit in our neighborhood, anything like that, suspect somebody's stealing, we're supposed to go and take care of it. Oh, but you don't want that, because of what happened over there. Was it Georgia? Ahmaud Arbery? No, that was one of the Carolinas, wasn't it? So you don't want police to police the neighborhoods or to answer calls. You don't want citizens trying to make citizens arrests. So what is everybody supposed to just let the criminals have their way with them? Is that what's your idea? What's your answer to it? And then if we do defend ourselves and our homes and our property and stuff, like the couple in St. Louis did, right? You don't want the police, and it's apparent you don't want people making citizens arrests or defending their property, because you went after the couple in St. Louis for defending their property. So the only message I'm getting from that, if you put all of that together, is you want us to be at the mercy of violent people. You're like a bad SNL sketch, Democratic Party. You want us to be at the mercy of, hey, no police, don't defend yourself, and just be at the mercy of all these people. Let them rob from us. Let them do everything else. You're going to have your security, though, aren't you? Well, maybe not, since there won't be any police. Let's see, when we defend ourselves, and then you have a crooked DA or prosecutor, whatever the hell he is there, like in St. Louis, who wants to bring charges against us for defending ourselves, maybe we'll just come after you. You're not. Who are you going to call? The cops? Who are you going to call, Mr. Prosecutor, DA, whatever the hell you are there in St. Louis? Who are you going to call? You want to get rid of police, and then you also want to prosecute people who protect themselves. Why are these people in these so-called peaceful protesters and stuff still allowed to be at it, especially at nighttime in any city in this country, where they're dragging people out of their cars, where they're stopping traffic? Now, like I said in the last one, you would much rather have trained police officers who are not taking things personally, at least when they first arrive on the scene, who just want to get to the bottom of things and get dangerous people out of the neighborhood. You would much rather have them handling things than people who are going to take it personal. You know, if one of these large groups blocks the highway or the streets or something like that, you would much rather have the police come and remove them from the highway than a bunch of angry truck drivers who will decide to grease their wheels, if you know what I mean. Because many of us out here know what LA 92 is. We know who Reginald Denny is. All right? And that shit ain't going down again. And if you're a driver out there and you don't know who Reginald Denny is, watch the documentary about LA 92, or you could probably just put in Reginald Denny and watch him be pulled from his truck by angry mobs. So if you're blocking the highway out there and everything, number one, you have no right to be on the highway. That's not a place to hold a protest or a demonstration, especially without permits or anything. Detaining people like that that's kidnapping. If you do it to these trucks out here, that's hijacking, interfering with interstate commerce. I'm sure a whole bunch of other things that are federal charges. And if it's a federal charge, guess what? You got to do 80% of your time. So if you get 20 years for interfering with interstate commerce, guess what? You're going to do 80% of that time. Because if you're on a highway, Trump doesn't need the state's permission. The federal officers don't need the governor's permission to have you locked up on federal charges. Do you understand that? You're committing a federal offense. Don't need the governor or the politician's permission to have federal officers arrest you for federal offense. So if you look at this theme of defund the police and all these types of things, look south of the border. Look to other countries around the world where there's no police or there's corrupt police and the politicians. And I've said for a while, people, whether they're foreign governments or these gangs, these criminals, you know, because are working their way into our government, whether it's on city councils and state elections, or even up into federal stuff, probably. And it's an ancient, old practice, and you can look back. The mafia, bought and paid for politicians and police and stuff, and then promoted their own guys to go and get in office. You can look back, the homosexuals have done the same thing, pushed for their people to get into office and stuff, and to change the laws to suit them. These drug cartels.
A message has arrived. Attention, a new important message has arrived.
These drug cartels.
Attention, a new important message has arrived.
Have done it around the world.
Has arrived. Attention, a new important message has
and I'm sure they're doing it here.
Attention, a new important message has arrived. Attention, a new important message has arrived.
So you have to look at the motives. Who would want...
Attention, a new important message has arrived. Attention, a new important...
Who would want the police forces defunded?
6672196
Criminals. You got to take a look at all these cities. I mean, the mayor of Baltimore, when that one kid died in police custody and they had their big thing down there, the mayor of Baltimore had gang members in press conferences with her. Look at, what was his name? Barry was he the mayor of D.C. at the time? Busted for cocaine and what else was there? Bribery or something. If you have a criminal element that is working for criminals within the government, we're screwed. And the FBI and other agencies need to take this stuff serious. And even if it's a political party or a person running for office, they need to investigate them. See who they're tied to. Now, yes, there is a danger of those in power using federal law enforcement to go after a political rival and this and that, like Trump was accused of, but it was the other way around. So the law enforcement, you have to stay very independent, and you have to look at the facts of the matter. I mean, for all we know, look at this AOC and some of these other people and stuff that have gotten into our political system, who do nothing but denounce the country, want to change everything. Look at what's her name up there in Minnesota. Who wouldn't stand a chance being any type of politician in a Muslim country, and her brand of Islam, I don't know where she gets that. Supporting abortion and homosexuality and all this other stuff and socialist things and all this. The same with Mr. Ellison, who was up there somewhere. Sure, not as conservative. If you look at the Muslim countries around the world, they're not behaving. They're not aligning themselves with conservative principles from the Quran. So you need to wake up out there, America. This is very dangerous stuff. Look south of the border and ask yourself, why would any sane person want to disband police departments and defund police departments? And then tell you can't defend yourself. And if you do defend yourself, you're going to be brought up on charges. These people are lunatics. And if you think, you people think you're getting a good glimpse of what socialism will be. Will be only them and those who are their friends and have the same crazy ass ideas that they do, and who want to take advantage of other people, that will be in power. You're going to be a peon, told to do what you're told and shut up. They will use race and things. They will play favoritisms with race and things like that. They'll say, "Oh, free education," but there's going to be a pecking order. And I hate to say it, but if you're white, you're not in their pecking order. You will not. You will if there's some kind of list, which I'm sure there will be if you look at all the other socialist and communist countries and stuff. You got put on lists for things. Never mind the bread lines and everything like that and rationing. You'll get X amount of toilet paper per month, X amount. In Russia, you got your X amount of vodka. People will be trading their vodka for food or for toilet paper and stuff, the ones that didn't drink, to the ones who did drink. Now, we'd all like to say this is just a bunch of shit. Ain't nobody going to vote for these people and everything's going to be fine. They have got people so bullshitted. They talk out of both sides of their mouths. Anyone who looks at the facts and looks at the data sees that cops are not running around hunting down black people and killing them. And that if you get pulled over, it's not automatic death sentence. Just like if you get coronavirus, it's not automatic death sentence. But they want you in fear. Look at the things Joe Biden says. They're going to put you back in chains. And African Americans who do speak out, conservatives and stuff, they're targeted. Flat out targeted. Called Uncle Toms and all kinds of other stuff and all this. And all they're saying is get off the Democratic plantation. Quit being bullshitted. I don't even know what you call it a plantation. You know, it's more like a reservation. And I've said this for a long time. Those cities, the reason they're run down, and you look at who's running them, they want to keep them run down and keep them that way. Because if they allow progress, if they allow money in there, if they allow business in there, guess what? They're going to lose their demographics. It's not just going to be poor black people and poor black criminals living in those neighborhoods who are looking not to do jail time and who are looking for handouts and stuff. It's not going to be illegal aliens and stuff that will be there. It'll become more diverse. It'll be people with money. There'll be white people, this and that. Then they won't get voted back in office. So they want to keep you there. You know, I live in Arizona. Plenty of reservations in Arizona. Now, it's great. It's a great thing to keep tradition and this and that. But I have also known plenty of young Native Americans who want to keep their traditions and stuff, but who feel like the whole world's passing them by on the reservation. There's been for a very long time within the Native American community that if you leave the res and you go out and you join American society, that you're somehow betraying your roots and your ancestors and all that kind of stuff. They have that kind of burden hanging over their shoulders. So, you know, that's you know, it's not these cities aren't the plantations, they're the reservations. They want to keep you on the reservation. They don't want you to have any progress. They don't want any diversity. They want you isolated because that gives them job security. And you all better start seeing through that crap. And while we're talking about crooked politicians and this and that and federal law enforcement should be able to look at certain things and everything, the Constitution says it's their job to ensure domestic tranquility and the welfare of the American people. Now, if they're willing to cause racial hatred, put out lies in the news media, cause violent demonstrations in the streets and all this and everything just to get elected, aren't they betraying their oath of office? Aren't they betraying the Constitution? Have they not made themselves enemies of the Constitution of the United States of America? Their oath is to the Constitution. The Constitution says the welfare, which means general well-being, it doesn't mean a handout, and the domestic tranquility, so that people can live their lives. That's the way it's supposed to be. You don't need all these big bureaucracies. American people aren't asking for... Quit robbing us for taxes, for all your crazy friggin' ideas, and all these butthurt crybaby people out there. And these do-nothing people who go to college and get degrees and shit that are not useful, and then, the only way to get it useful is to get in with the politicians and make some of their shit mandatory. All these counselors and study groups and this and that. We got to put these types of people in our schools now to teach the kids. You know, in school, you're supposed to just learn. Reading, writing, arithmetic, science, history. These people want to social engineer. Now, no, we're going to tell your kid in school on what proper behavior is and what they should tolerate and what they shouldn't tolerate and this and that. Who the hell, where is it in the Constitution that the government and the school system has a right to raise our children? You don't have a right to raise our children. You were there to teach them what they need to know to be educated. That's what we pay all those taxes for. And we're not paying you to teach them whether they should be able to call each other boy or girl. We're not paying you to bring in drag queens like they did in Houston. We're not paying you to bring in people to tell them how to get in touch with their emotions. And constantly ask them, how do you feel about that? How do you feel? How's that mean? What do you feel about this? What do you feel? You know the type of people I'm talking about? You hear them on NPR and this and that and everything all the time. Talking about how they got a degree in this and that and everything in, sociology, psychology, all this. And it's really important that we change people into being able to be in touch with themselves and the others around them, and to be sensitive and all these types of things. And they always talk with these kinds of voices, just like Michelle Obama was talking, just Kamala Harris was talking. While they're talking lies out of both sides of their mouths. It's like a bad SNL sketch, Michelle Obama. The innocent lives lost at the hands of police. The never-ending list. Really? Well, let's see. The police that went into, what's her name? Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend, drug dealers, went after them, had surveilled them for I don't know how long, got all the paperwork, went to a judge, got the warrants and everything, went to execute the warrants on them for dealing drugs and guns and all that kind of crap. And the boyfriend decided he was going to open fire through the door at the police. So they returned fire. Breonna Taylor gets killed. But that ain't the story you told, Michelle Obama. That ain't the story LeBron tells. No, she was just an innocent woman sleeping in her bed and the cops went in and shot her. Doesn't matter that it was a drug house. Doesn't matter they had weapons in there. Now let's see, the police had to go through all that stuff to go and execute those warrants and arrest people. But if you get rid of the police, and I'm living next door to that shit, I have no one to go and get warrants from, do I? So if they're dealing drugs and all that crap in my neighborhood and I don't want that shit around my kids and there's no cops, I guess you're telling me I can take the law into my own hands and I can just go in there. And I'm not going to try and take them alive. The cops would have took them alive. I'm not going to try and take them alive. If you want to leave it to citizens, we're not going to risk our lives trying to take them alive. What are we going to do with them? Even if we do, there's no police to give them to. There's no police to give them to. And you don't want us making citizens arrest. So what are we supposed to do? Just allow that shit to take over every neighborhood in America? For all the drug dealers and all the criminals and everything to laugh? You can't do shit. You can't do nothing about it. You can't do nothing about it. That's what they tell the cops now, even to you can't do nothing about it. So is this what you really want? No police. You want to leave it to us? You'd much rather have cops come and clear the road instead of leaving it to drivers out here if there's a big protest closing down the highway. You'd rather have trained officers doing that, keeping the order. Because if you leave it to us, we're going to grease our wheels. That's what we're going to do. There ain't going to be no more Reginald Denny shit going down. I guarantee you that. And as far as people's neighborhoods and stuff, just because you try to roast that couple in St. Louis for defending their property and stuff, it's not going to stop anybody else. You're not intimidating anybody. You're not intimidating anybody else from defending their lives and their property. So you want to defund the police? There's no cops to call. We all got shotguns. You know, my neighbor who sits out in his storage shed on the patio, who lives below me and smokes dope. When I get tired of that and there's no cops to call, and I go down and tell him, hey man, I don't want to be smelling your fucking weed up here. And he mouths off and tells me, fuck you, or some shit like that. And I let him have it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I didn't do nothing wrong. There was no police to call. What are you going to do? See, so maybe defunding the police would be a good idea. Because instead of all the money we spend on these assholes, and then listening to them complain and whine about the cops did this to them or the cops did that to them, because they're trying to get charges dropped. Instead of going through all that, instead of all the court costs, all the detention costs, then if they're in prison, covering all those costs and everything like that, let the citizens handle it. Let us handle it. Hey, you want to get rid of ICE and immigration too, right? You can get rid of them. And all these little towns that have been overrun by illegal immigrants, and these pockets full of them in the cities where crime and everything is rampant. You don't want ICE or immigration, border patrol, you don't want police. So I guess you're saying it's up to us, the citizens, to enforce the laws of this country. So hey, maybe in that respect, defund the police might be a good thing, because we'll get it done quicker. You'd much rather have ICE and immigration services, border patrol, handle illegal immigrants instead of the people who are living in these towns and these areas who are fed up of being overrun by illegal immigrants, who have no respect for this country or anybody in it or anything. I know all immigrants aren't like that. Even all illegal immigrants are not like that. But there's plenty of them coming. And not just from Mexico, from Africa too. And I think that's where a lot of the African American community is getting a lot of these crazy ideas, socialism and this and that, because communism and socialism has made great strides in Africa. Violently. It's not people choosing it. Violently have made inroads to power in Africa. There was one, I was waiting for a shower one time. There was a couple of them sitting by the TV room in the shower thing. And in between, when they were done talking about cheap whores that they could find at different places where they got unloaded, one of them said something about, saw me standing there waiting for a shower and was like, yeah, I need a shower too, but they want me to pay. Why do you have to pay for water? I said, what? I said, well, if you get fuel, it's free. Yeah, but water should be free. Why? I said, well, they got costs they have to cover. No, but even in my house, I have to pay for water. Why do I have to pay for water? And I had to explain to him, you're not paying for the water. You're paying for the pipeline and the maintenance of the pipeline. You're paying for the water treatment place. You're paying for the people who work for either the city water department or a private company that handles the water for your town. You're not paying for the water. You understand? You're paying for all the infrastructure that goes to bringing the water to your house. But the African guy did not pay for water. And I can imagine the water system you had in Africa too, which was probably put in place by a colonial power and paid for by them and maintained by them until it collapsed, and now you got no more colonial power and you have whatever shit form of government you have over there where nothing's maintained or done. You have free water, but it isn't always running, I can imagine, or it's dirty, because nothing's free. You got to maintain systems, and it costs money. Do you expect all the people to work who put in these pipelines and stuff and everything to bring water to your house? Do you expect them to work for free? So you're not paying for the water. These are the types of people that are coming in this country that can't even understand a simple principle like that. And then another bozo who was there with him. Oh, you can't explain. He does not think like us. Trying to make it out like I was the dummy. He does not think like us. You're damn right I don't think like you, dipshit. What do I pay for water? Why do you pay for electricity? Dumb fuck. Why do you pay? You know, you were just talking about paying for nasty whores that would do anything for $20 at this place or that place and everything. Although one of them said there was a problem. One didn't want to do anything with him because she said his balls stunk. And then the pimp had to tell her to do it. These are the types of people you're letting into the country. Yep. So if you want us to police this nation on our own, we can damn well do it. We can damn well do it. And don't think you're going to come prosecute us when we do. Wish you all the best out there. God bless. Adios.